See my big shadow? This is the cabin that I'm always talking about. I'm gonna give you a little tour. This is up here at our family farm. Okay. On top of the mountain. This is the new part of the farm. This is the farm my dad's side of the family was raised on. Now this is the new room. This room hasn't been here real long. And that red part that you're seeing right there with the quilt square is actually the old front of the cabin. And we had to have this room built. We have our holiday stuff up here for Dad's side of the family. We have Thanksgiving and Easter. There's a whole lot of us, so we didn't have quite enough room for everybody. So Dad had this room built maybe 2 years ago. I don't know if it was, maybe a little bit longer than that. This is up in the loft of the new room. And one of the coolest things up here that I think, probably one of the coolest things in the cabin, is how my mom and sister stained this floor different colors. When they first told me they'd stained it different colors, I kind of thought, what? But it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I love it.
You love it, Holden?
I love the wedding.
And this is looking over into the new room. If you're wondering what the big yellow toe strap is for, we swing off of it. Well, the kids swing off of it, and I try to, but it don't work real good because I'm gigantic. Believe it or not, this teeny tiny rocking chair was mine when I was growing up. And somehow we still have it. I wanted to get a shot of that for Matt, because he lives up in that neck of the woods. But this is the old big room. It's still a big room. And this used to be the first room you came into when you came in the front door of the cabin. This is my mom's apron collection. Then there's a little loft up here the kids sleep in and play in. But if the ceiling and the wood in here looks familiar to anybody, that's because the biggest part of the structure in this part of the cabin was reclaimed from a Stuckey's that my dad tore down. And if you remember, Stuckey's had those big wooden vaulted ceilings in them. You can tell it looks just like the roof of Stuckey's from back in the day. This is some of Mom's cast iron and old dishes collection, but truth be told, she's taken a lot of this down. Always the rule when we come up here, if you're gonna cook, you can cook with anything hanging anywhere unless it's got a ribbon tied around it, and then you're not to touch it. This is an old stove my mom came across. We had, I don't remember how long ago it's been. It's not been real long ago. And I've tried to do some research on it and find out some stuff. I found out a few things, but not a whole lot. Best I can tell, I think it was made in Louisville, which is interesting. Then over here is the old ironing board. I ain't gonna mess with it, I'll tear something up. Now I will give you bonus points if you can tell me what this contraption hanging on the wall here is. And I'll give you a big bonus points if you can tell me how old it is, because I don't even know. I just know it's old. Hey, what is that?
A turlet.
This is probably the most lived in and used room. Here, this is kind of the TV room, you can tell. We use it a lot. And the pictures on the wall are some of the ancestors. Then over here, ow. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I painted it in watercolor a few years ago. And this is the house out at the old place that my dad and my aunts and uncles were raised in. Now, I have to admit, the color on these steps is new to me. It's pretty bright, but it makes sense because this little stairwell right here could get dark. Now we're gonna go downstairs. This is just a little bedroom downstairs at the foot of the steps we have. And this big dresser, I can't remember the actual word for what it is, me and Mom got at an estate auction one time. It weighs a ton. The top of it is marble. That was Holden falling on the steps. This thing's pretty old. I've not done a whole lot of research into it, but I know it's old. And this is the, I guess what you call the big room downstairs. It's got a kitchen in it. There's two kitchens. There's one upstairs, there's one downstairs. And it takes pretty much both kitchens when we have gatherings up here. And this is the fireplace. The rocks in the fireplace came from out in the field. That's Mom's birdhouse collection. I was telling Dee and somebody else the other day that my mom's got a bunch of old bottles collected and scattered about. Here's a couple of them. Some of her glass. She's got a lot of glass she collects. That old glass. Now this picture hung in our living room when I was growing up. So I know it's old. You know, that's something else I should probably do some research on because I don't know a lot about it. There are chickens for days. Chickens and owls up here. And this is the chickens. And for some reason, I don't know if this is a cookie cutter or what this thing is, but it cracks me up because it's spooky looking. This is the other dresser that me and Mom got at that estate auction that day. Oh, I didn't realize I'm in the mirror. I was trying not to make that happen. And then some washboards and things like that. Stuff that we just collected up over the years. This is another bedroom downstairs. And I'm not going to show you all of it because there are no sheets on the bed. And my mom would probably string me up for showing that. This doll scares me, but it makes me think of, I don't know how many of y'all know what a hush baby is, but back in pioneer days, when there were Indian attacks and things on the pioneers, they would have, you know, their corncob dolls and things they gave the children, but they would have one special doll, one special toy that was always soft, very, very soft, and they called it a hush baby. And they only gave that doll to the children when there were Indian attacks and stuff, and it was to help keep the child quiet. That way the Indians couldn't figure out where they were from the noise from the kids. And I don't know if that's a hush baby. I don't know if somebody made it. I have no clue where it come from. But it looks a lot like what I have seen with the hush babies. All right, we're in the Gator right now. We're gonna go drive around and show y'all some more of the farm. But the Gator is very, very loud, so I won't be doing a whole lot of talking. I'll find some kind of reggae music or something to play. But here we go. Okay, this is the house my dad and his siblings were raised in. And quite a few members of that side of the family came through this house. It's old, like older than their generation. It's still got like the like tar paper siding and stuff on it. Originally it was 4 rooms. There was like a living room, 2 bedrooms, and a kitchen, and then like a little kind of pantry, and then there was a summer kitchen in the barn. And the porch actually had a porch on it at one point. And then several years ago, when I think I was in high school, Dad came up here and the 2 back rooms were on fire for some reason. There was no electricity to it or anything. Of course, nobody was up here. This isn't exactly the easiest place on earth to find or even get to if you know where it's at. So we don't know what happened, and they hooked the back part of the house to the tractor and just kind of pulled it off to keep it from burning the rest of the house down. You can kind of tell how old the house is just by this stuff. If you're not familiar with it, it's kind of the same material that roofing shingles are made out of, and this was basically the outer covering of the house and the insulation. But some of the rooms, especially the ones in the back, had newspaper on the walls for insulation, and I still have some of the pieces of newspaper that I pulled off the wall a long time ago. And I also have some pieces of linoleum I cut up from the floor and kept them. And I probably need to get some pieces of this outside wall and hang on to them, because it's seen much better days, hasn't it? Okay, I'm behind the house now, and you can kind of tell a little bit how there used to be another room, 2 more rooms, and the back porch back here. And I'm a little leery of snakes, not gonna lie, over here, but I wanted to show y'all the cistern is still here. You see it down there? I'm gonna try to hold the camera over and see if it can look down in it. And I can't see down in there, I just know the camera can, so Lord knows what I'm looking at, if anything. This is just a side view of the house. And you can see the old foundation was just rocks that were stacked up. And some of them have fallen. And I'd be tempted to go inside of it, but I'm really not sure it wouldn't fall now at this point. Now this pond used to be the hog lot back in the day, because pretty much anything they ate, they raised themselves when they were up here. And then Dad kind of dug it out and turned it into this pond. There's 2 more ponds on down in the holler. This one, as far as I know, doesn't have fish in it. There's another one that's about twice, 3 times this size down in the holler that's full of fish. And another interesting fact about this pond, it is not uncommon to see a bear down here about this time of the day usually. I've only seen 2, maybe 3 bears up here with my own eyes, like actually seen the bear. I've seen lots of evidence of bears. I found a few places when I was hiking in the woods up here where the bears have clawed on the trees. And then I found like some tracks a couple times. There was a turkey print down here one time we saw in the mud that was bigger than my hand. And some of my cousins who are way more woodsy than I am were shocked when we found that big turkey track. We were kind of scared. I thought, I don't want to come up on that turkey in the woods.
Blood wire! Blood wire over here!
Well, don't touch it.
Why?
Okay, touch it.
No!
Well, the water's up pretty high right now, so it's going to be hard to look for any kind of tracks. Right now, there was a pretty good storm come through here yesterday, and we were coming up the road, up the mountain. I couldn't believe the trees and things that were down. It was a shock. Now, there's some kind of... Okay. All right. That is some kind of a big track. A turkey or something. That, probably the other end of that turkey or whatever bird that is. I don't even see deer tracks, which is kind of strange. Usually you see so many deer tracks up here that you don't even get excited when you see them because they're everywhere. And I know another question probably some people are thinking is, do you find arrowheads? The answer is no. Of all the cool geodes and fossils and things that I have found up here in my day, never found an arrowhead. I think my mom said she has found a couple, but it's just not something we find much of up here for some reason. I don't know what it is. Did you all see that thing jump? I hope it showed up on camera because that didn't look like a frog. It looked like something long and skinny flying through the air. There's something in that bush. Did you? I wonder what that was. It ain't a bear, I know that. But it's good size, whatever it was. I hope it showed up or the noise or something on camera so y'all don't think I'm stupid. Stupider than I am. I'm gonna throw a rock and see if whatever it is will take off. Yeah. I don't know what that was. I don't know how close I need to get. It probably wants to be left alone. Now I'm nervous about walking through here. It'll jump out and I'll go in that pond, and then we'll see how waterproof the GoPro is. There's another one of those big tracks. And not a deer track to be found. That's a rare, rare thing. More bonus points if anybody knows what that is. It's looking up back toward the barn and the house. There's actually a lot to the farm, but the majority of it is woods and grown up and stuff. And we're not gonna go get in all that today. Not with the little one with me. What are you doing? Anybody want some chiggers?
Okay.
You don't know what chiggers are?
I want to look at the tickers.
They're right there. Actually, you see that little red dot, those bugs? Those are chiggers. They'll eat you up and itch you to death. So don't touch them, okay? You promise?
Mm-hmm.
This grove of trees right here in the corner of the field, my great-grandpa or great-great-grandpa, I could never get it straight. I worked on wagons and things. He had a workshop there, and he had a heart attack and died underneath one of the trees. I think it's the dead tree. But if anybody wants mistletoe, let me know before fall comes, because these trees right here, we can come up here and shoot it out of the trees by the handful. It's awful, the mistletoe that grows in these trees. And this is probably my favorite part of the farm. There's trails that take off up through here and go to the top of the mountain. When I was little, there's 3 great big rocks that kind of sit in a circle with a gap in the middle of them. That was kind of like a clubhouse or a fort, and we would ride either the horses or the 4-wheelers up there to play. But I also really, really like the view up here. You can see pretty far off from here. I don't know how good it shows up on the camera. That's looking probably a little bit east of due south, if I'm guessing. And toward the right, before you get into the trees that are close to us, blocking the view, I-75 cuts right through there somewhere. Now, some of us, we've chatted and I've talked about our farm. I talked about there's one corner of one of the fields that always gives people the creeps, and There's just something odd about it. It's that corner right down there where it dips. Now, in that tree line, that drops straight down into the holler. Don't know what it is about that corner, but there's something about that spot over there that always gives people the willies. And I was telling you, like, my former brother-in-law come up here and bush hogged one time. We never told him anything about ghost stories or anything up here, and he got freaked out when he got over to that part of the field. He didn't like it a whole lot. He's not a ghost person. He's not one of these people that's not used to being in the woods. He goes hunting all the time and stuff like that. So when he said it, you listened. But one of these days, before too long, when the weather cools off and things settle down a little bit, I'll take you on a hike up through these woods and show you some things, because there's a rock formation back through there in the cliff line that looks just like Fred Flintstone's house. Now we're gonna get back in the gator and take a ride back out to the cabin, because it's starting to get dark. And I've got my nephew with me, and I don't want him up here after dark either. Really, I need to get home before dark. So again, I'll not be talking while we're in the gator. I'll just let you watch. That was just a little look at the cabin and the farm, or at least some of it. And one day before too long, I'll take y'all out in the woods and show you some of the good stuff there. So like and subscribe, and as always,
thank y'all so